हेलो एवरीवन। बस हम देखते हैं थोड़ी देर में कि एक बार सारे लोग आ जाए, फिर हम बस 2-3 मिनट में शुरू कर रहे हैं। आप चैट्स पे क्वेश्चंस लिख सकते हो साथ में, और देखते रहते हैं क्या क्या चल रहा है। दैट्स इट। आप हाय बोलना चाहोगे बाकी सब लोगों को?
I
अपना थोड़ा इंट्रोडक्शन दे सकते हो आप
हेलो।
दोनों, थोड़ा थोड़ा। हेमंत सर, आपसे शुरू करते हैं। अपना थोड़ा इंट्रोडक्शन दे सकते हो आप दोनों, थोड़ा थोड़ा।
एक मिनट अजय
हेमंत सर,
रिदम
आप शुरू करते हैं।
ओके, रिदम स्टार्ट करेंगे।
स्टार्टेड है सर।
ओके, ठीक है। तो आई प्रेजेंट, ठीक है।
अभी इंट्रो दो सर अपना, अभी शुरू मत करो, थोड़ा इंट्रो दो
हाँ,
अपना।
मतलब उसी के अंदर ही इंट्रो भी हमने प्रेजेंटेशन में
शुरू कर
डाल
दो।
दिया।
So everyone, we will start the presentation now. जो होता है देखते चलो।
चलो, यू आर एबल टू सी द स्क्रीन, राइट?
हाँ,
ओके।
we can see the screen. Live chat enable कैसे बनाएंगे?
Okay. Okay, guys. So today's session is on how we guys prepared for tech giants. So basically, we'll be covering a few companies, few product-based companies like Samsung, Flipkart, Amazon, and Google, and our experience till now in the industry. So, so let's start. So before starting, we are here's a short disclaimer that we do not represent any company whatsoever. So like we'll only be presenting our experience till now. So take our advice with a grain of salt. Okay. So namaste से start करते हैं. So Hemant, you'll present yourself first.
yeah. So hi guys, I'm Hemant, and I joined YMCA in 2015, and first year went in enjoying only, and in second year I started my coding journey and my development journey. And I love working on Android, and I love sharing ideas with my friends. I love helping people. So that's basically what I do. I've never been much into the coding, but I've been into like mathematics or logical reasoning and development, like Android or backend. And after that I got an internship at Posist in Delhi. It is a startup. I worked on mean stack there. Then I got an opportunity to work at Amazon. So I joined there, and after that I'll be joining Google on 6th of July now. Yeah, that's I think enough for now. Ajay.
Congrats
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. Hi guys. So this is Ajay, and I belong to the same batch as Hemant, and I joined YMCA in 2015. So I did my internship from Samsung Noida, and after that, I got an offer as an SD1 at Amazon Bangalore. So I worked there for close to 10-11 months, and after that, I moved on to Flipkart. So I'm currently working in Flipkart as an SD1. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, apart from work, I enjoy going to bike rides on weekends. That's it. Okay, so moving on. Initially, we'll be covering the common things which are needed for all, basically almost all of the product-based companies. So yeah, so Hemant, you'll take it from here. Hemant.
Sorry guys. So data structure is basically the building block of any problem you are solving. So let's say there is a guest at your home, so you want to give them water and stuff. So you won't give them water in a plate or in a thali, you say. So you'll take a glass obviously, and you'll pour water and then hand it over to your guest. So consider the data structure as your glass. So half of your more than half of your problem is already solved by data structure. So like first thing I'll like encourage you guys to do is to be very good at data structures and algorithms. Okay. And then what like over the time you'll get clarity over concepts and you'll feel easy to like implement these data structures and algorithms on your own. Like you don't have to see on Geeks for Geeks or your books or any notes. Then after that you can start working on tough problems, like maybe you can start interview bit, maybe you can start lead code and then start working on code forces or etc. But first be like have good knowledge of DS and algo. So like for learning DS algo, first thing could be like Geeks for Geeks. First learn there, and after that you can start with interview bit. It has good amount of questions, and a lot of these questions are asked in real interviews also, like Amazon, Samsung, and like maybe one or two, like sometimes similar questions are asked in Google also. So yeah, that's all I think. Ajay, if you want to add anything or
Yeah. So one more thing that I mean, most of the people say that why learn data structures algorithms when you are not working on it in the industry. So actually, it's not true. I mean, I would like to share my experience. So personally, the product in which I am working, so I'm using Tree, which is a very common data structure, if you know. So I'm using Tree to solve a particular expressions. So like there is a job we run every morning and we are using expression trees for that. So if you're working on some project, like ultimately you'll see that data structures and algorithms, they are basically the building blocks of any product based company. So any product based company will need data structures and they'll need algorithms if they have particular project and like there is a requirement, and mostly in most of the time there will be some requirement. So it's not just for cracking interviews, but it's actually for I mean it's actually used in the industry. Yeah. So yeah. So apart from that, one more thing we'd like to tell you is that apart when you have sufficient knowledge about data structures and algorithms, then try to become a better problem solver. So just solving a problem is not enough. So what do I mean by that is that during an interview you just have few like you have only like some time in which you have to solve a problem. So like in general you'll have only 20 to 25 minutes to solve a easy or a medium level problem. Like sometimes there will be a hard level problem too, but mostly there will be middle level problems only. So it's very important for you to incorporate that habit of solving a question by time boxing it basically. So you have to time box a question and then you should start solving it. So when you're solving like this, when you're practicing like this, it's easy to crack the interviews when you're actually like giving an interview, when you're actually solving a problem during an interview. So you should try to incorporate this habit into your practice sessions so that it's easy for you later. So just become a good problem solver. Time box each question. Set a timer of generally 20 to 25 minutes for a medium level problem. So a level problem. What do I mean by that is that like around 1400. I mean rated around 1400 on code forces. So that will say it's a medium level problem. So also know basic maths like probability, combinatorics, and discrete mathematics. So it comes very handy if you know, I mean, these things because it makes you a good problem solver basically. So problem solving is nothing but maths. I mean, so, so how do you become a good problem solver? Just do a time contest on code forces often. So how would it help is that it will help you to reach to a solution faster. Like when you have practiced this way, you'll ultimately be able to reach to a particular solution, to basically an optimal solution faster, and your coding implementation skills are also improved. So you have only a limited amount of time during a short contest. So when you have a habit of writing a code in that, I mean in that uh, pressure, I mean you have just some time and you have to write that code during that in that time only. So basically your coding implementation skills are also improved. and so you'll be ultimately able to write clean code in short amount of time. So when you'll be clear of what algorithm to choose in that short amount of time, your basically thought process will become very clear, and ultimately it will affect your quality of code. So it also teaches you various data structures and algorithms, and it teaches you basics of maths. So I'd highly recommend you to follow just one platform. So my personal platform was Codeforces, even though I did not do it much, but I'd like you to stick to one platform and continue there. Like it can be any platform, not just Codeforces. Yeah. Okay. Hemant, you want to add something?
I think you covered it all.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we'll move ahead to company specific preparation. So how to prepare for Samsung? So as you know, guys, I did my internship from Samsung, and I also had a full time offer from Samsung. So these are the things which I think like mainly you should focus more on. So first thing is recursion or DFS. So try to solve as many possible questions as as many questions as possible. And like graph is also one important topic which I have not written here. Become good with computer fundamentals like DBMS, CN, OS, and OOPS. So these things will be asked during an interview with Samsung. So these are the basically the things which you'll need to focus more on. I mean, you have to prepare other things as well, but these are the key areas in which you have to work.
So
So
I'd like to add one thing. So
yeah,
like as I mentioned, like do as many questions as possible. So like it can be different for someone. Like me personally, I don't do much questions anywhere. Like if you see my profiles on Hacker Earth or anywhere, like you can see my profile. But what I do is like I try to grab the concept like as much as I can, so that I can use it anywhere. So if I'm using recursion, I try to grab the concept as much as I can, so that like it becomes very easy to me, like it becomes my second nature. Like it's recursion, like you should be able to tell like what will be the approach when you see the question. So that can only happen in two cases: either you do like a lot of questions, like if you have time you can do a lot of questions, or if you don't have time, or like maybe you are like me, so you can try to learn the concept as much as you can, like recursion or trees or anything you say. So learn it as like up to a stage like where it seems very easy to you. It's like almost like second nature to you. Yeah, that's all.
so considering now we will move to the basically the pattern of interviews at Samsung. So there will be one coding round. It will be of 1.5 hours, and the problem will be very trivial. So it will be mostly on recursion or graphs. Sometimes it can be on DP, but the probability is very low. So next two rounds will be DS Algo plus computer fundamentals, which I mentioned here. And the last round which you'll be having is HR round, so which is very easy. You don't have to prepare much for that. And so Samsung visits our campus every year, and they hire a good amount of people from our campus. So there like there is more probability for you to get selected in Samsung. Yeah. So yeah, so now Hemant will tell you about preparation for Amazon.
Okay, so in Amazon, like in our case, and like it's also followed right now. So there are a total of 5 rounds. Like first one is like DS and Algo online round, like which and in like in on campus placements, it will be on your labs or somewhere. So that's basically there will be two basic questions of DFS or something. They are very basic questions, and there will be some MCQs like around 20 or 30 based on some computer fundamentals. So like do prepare for computer fundamentals also. So after that, once your like online round is done, then you'll be called for further rounds. there will be 3 rounds based on DSLGO plus computer fundamentals. Like generally they ask only DSLGO questions. Like each round will be of 45 minutes, and like you'll be given 2 questions, like one by one. And after that, like if the interviewer wants, or if there is some extra time, so they might ask some computer fundamentals like computer networks, or maybe OOPS or DBMS, anything like they like to. And after that, there is round five, like which is bar raiser round. So in this round, like they'll ask you everything. Like they can ask behavioral question, they can ask DSLGO, they can ask your computer fundamentals, they can ask about your projects, they can ask about like anything. But like in the case for DSLGO, it's generally like easier than these 3 rounds. And like also, like you have to learn these concepts like OOPS, DBMS, be very thorough with them. And you can try making some projects also. Like if you make projects, then these like OOPS concepts will be very easy for you, DBMS concepts will be very easy for you. CN concepts, like you might have to like read about them. So like the resources for it could be like, first one will be Geeks for Geeks. So try to do as many questions there. Like there are like a lot of questions on like Geeks for Geeks, like previous year Amazon questions. But like they do generally ask questions from them only. And after that, you can try reading the Amazon interview experience, get better with it, like how the interviewer asks you questions. So get familiar with it. And after that, on interview, try to do each and every problem. Like it's a very very good platform in our opinion, like I think.
Yeah.
So, and the more focus of like Amazon is on trees, linked list, and TP. Like in my 3 interviews, like there were like 4 to 5 questions based on these three only. Apart from these, there was only one question which was based on array. But apart from that, all of these are like all of the questions are um, on trees, linked list, and TP only. And after that, mostly only famous problems from Geeks for Geeks. Yeah, try to do like I'll tell you what to do. Like first learn the DSLGO, then try doing 1 or 2 easy problems, 1, 2, or maybe 4, 5. Like once you get familiar with how to write the code, then try moving on to medium level questions or maybe hard level questions. Like once you find that data structure easy enough to do, like then move on to the next one. Okay. And after that, prepare for easy to medium. Yeah, that I covered. I try to go through as much DSLGO questions on Geeks for Geeks. Yeah, that's yeah.
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 So, but one more thing about Amazon is that I mean, mostly you will be asked repeated questions. So I mean, it's a pattern which we found that mostly it asks repeated questions to candidates. I mean, the statements can change, but the underlying concept or the underlying problem is basically the same. Okay. So so I'll move to how to prepare for Flipkart. So basically the first round is machine coding round, which will be a low level design coding problem. So you'll be given a problem, a very lengthy problem in general. So it basically uh, it basically explains some real life problem or real life issue, and it can be anything. And you'll be asked to solve this problem, and you have to incorporate good design skills in your implementation. So just solving the problem is not enough. You have to make sure that you have to implement, you are writing the code as if you are implementing a new service for a company. So you don't have to cover I mean a lot of like every use case. I mean, in my experience, in my interview, so I missed few cases because the code became very lengthy, because you have to I mean, you have to write it in such a way that you are writing a service for a company. So few things can miss from your end, but you can tell the interviewer that I mean, these things are taking time, and these are the things which could have also be covered. So basically, try practicing a machine coding round really well, and it actually it's very important that you practice it well, because mostly till now we have prepared only for DSL Go problem, and the pattern of this interview is very different. So uh, it matters that how you have solved the problem or not, but it also matters that like like have you incorporated good design in your implementation or not. So so next thing is prepare for medium level problems, that is 1400 to 1600 rated problems on code forces. So next thing is computer fundamentals. So prepare for it really well. They'll ask you a few questions from these topics. And next is geeks for geeks. So prepare for past year interview experiences from geeks for geeks. Do as many of these possible according to the time you have, and that's it. I mean, round two will be DSL Go round, which you can prepare for geeks for geeks and intro bit. And the third round will be hiring manager round. So this hiring manager round, you have to prepare for it in case of Flipkart, because they will ask you some good questions. And I mean, in general, we don't prepare for it, but ultimately, I mean, you'll need to. I mean, it's better that you prepare for the hiring manager round, because I mean the type of questions which they'll be asking you is very difficult, and at that moment it can be very tricky. So it's good that you have prepared it beforehand. That's it. So Hemant.
Okay. Yeah, so like preparing for Google is it was a tough task, I'll say. But I'll go with the procedure first. So there is a round zero. I'm calling this round zero because it's just a like qualification round. So it will be on a telephone or maybe a hangout interview. So they'll be sharing a doc with you where you have to write code, and like they'll be sharing some questions. So it's basically like tougher for me because like you cannot use pen and paper there. Like you can use a pen and paper, but then the interviewer won't be able to like give a good review for you. Like they won't be able to tell like what the interviewee was thinking during the round. So like practice doing that, like writing everything on document rather than on your copy or like maybe book or anything. So first round is telephonic. It's 45 minutes round. Like it depends on interviewer how they ask question. So some interviewers ask question like they'll be asking two questions just like as we do in Amazon. So but like in my case what happened was like interviewer asked one question and then asked follow-up questions, maybe some new constraints or some maybe some new condition or anything. So depending on the question. So after you qualify for that, then there are like 5 on-site interviews. So from round 1 to round 4, they will all be based on DS and Algo. Generally they do on-site, but like during this pandemic and whole lockdown situation, so I was interviewed on Hangout. So like similarly the concept is same. Like they'll be for 45 minutes and they'll be asking two question or maybe one question and then a follow-up question. And after that there is round 5. This is like they call it ugliness round, but it's very similar to the hiring round. Like they'll be asking some behavioral question and like be well prepared for it. Like there might be some situations, for example, like if there is any conflict with your senior, sometimes you have taken some step ahead of others or anything. Like they'll be asking a lot of questions in that round. So and like things to keep in mind while preparing is like you have to have a good grasp over DS and Algo. Like the questions are based on DS Algo, but DS Algo is a very little part of those questions. Like the questions asked in Google, it's a very little part, and a lot of part is based on mathematics. So and try writing a clean and reusable code. So generally what we do is like while writing a code in C++ or Java, whatever you do like competitive coding on, So like what we follow is like we write the code, like we just want to run the code. We don't care about the variables or anything, but try to avoid that. Use less variables and meaningful variables. Try to create functions for each and everything so that it can be reused again. So like try following that. And then if you are good at logical reasoning, then it's good. But if you are not, then try doing some logical reasoning question on maybe Geeks for Geeks or maybe some other sites, or maybe some competitive like test, like maybe some government exams. Like I tried to do logical reasoning from there also. So after that, like get better at mathematics, like discrete mathematics, probability and combinatorics, like PNC, etc. And then like have a basic knowledge of linear algebra. So these all you have to learn, because most of the questions are like based on mathematics. So if you like, you may be able to solve them without mathematics, but you won't be able to solve them in the given time limit, because you'll have to do a lot of analysis there. And if you know like all this PNC and discrete mathematics and all, then you'll be able to solve them like very easily. So after that, like competitive programming is like also a focus there, because like in Google, like there is no pattern actually. The only pattern is they ask like mathematics question, and like the questions are based on previous concepts, like kind of based on previous concepts, but the questions will be like you would have not seen them anywhere. But like one thing I can like suggest you is try doing lead code. Like lead code has a premium for Google questions. Like they are very good questions. The questions are very similar to those like which was asked in my interviews. And also try doing interview like the text with Google. So yeah, I think that's all. Have a good grasp over like everything, DSL Go and mathematics and everything. And also like if you are stuck anywhere in an interview, like it's better to ask for some like hints or anything than to just like try writing your notebook or anything and wasting the time. If you're not able to like get any approach, like just ask for a hint. Or and also like there is one more thing, like try to ask as many question about the question. Like what will happen if the, like there is a string question, so you can ask like what will happen if the string is empty, or what will be the length of string, what are the various constraints. So all these you have to ask there. So they won't tell you anything. They'll just tell you the problem. They won't tell you any constraint, so you have to ask them so that you can like use particular DS or particular algorithm. So try asking as many questions as you can there, and like clear the question basically. Yeah, that's all I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so things to keep in mind, like yeah, we all do prepare for like interviews, and like there will be a lot of better programmers or better coders than me already there in second or third year also, and in fourth year also. And like you'll get ahead, like you'll get good jobs, and like I'm sure about that. So things like what I think are necessary along with the coding and everything is like just be calm like while giving the interview. Like I've seen many guys like who knew the questions or who knew the DS and algo, but they were not able to solve the question during an interview because they got nervous or maybe anything, any situation. So try to be calm, because like he's not a god, or he's not a like devil or something. He's not someone, he's just a human like you. And he'll be the one with whom you'll be working with. Like when you come in a college, so everything seems like strange to you, like the seniors or maybe the colleagues, like everything is a bit strange to you. But like by time you get used to everything. So it's just like that. So things might seem strange when you are giving interview, like he's a senior, he has worked at like for this many years in that company. But try to be calm and like deal with, like talk to him like you talk with your colleagues, like how you discuss with your colleagues or your classmates or your benchmates, your friends, how you discuss the problem with them. Try to discuss it like with the interviewer also, so you'll get less nervous and you'll be able to like approach a problem better. And also like do things which you love. Like sometimes what we do is like I'll do DSL Go, I'll do competitive programming also, I'll do development also, and maybe I'll do freelancing also. So there are a lot of things, and our mind is not stable at that time. So try doing the things which you love. Like I love to play video games. Like I'm not a pro player, but I like to play video games a lot. So like every day or maybe in a 2 day I try to play games so that like I can calm my mind, so that like I and later on I'm able to focus more on everything. So, and one more thing, if still you are not calm, you can try meditation for like 10 minutes daily, or maybe in a 2 days. Like whenever I'm not feeling well, like in my mind, so I try to meditate. So you can try for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, like however you like. And the fourth thing is learn how you learn. So like as previously also mentioned, like you might try to do as many questions as you want, or you can try to learn the concepts well. So it basically depends on you. So how I learn is I try to grab the concept as much as I can. So and after that be creative, like try to don't only focus on like one approach for a problem. There might be some other approach. Like one day I was doing a question, so I was following one approach for 5 to 6 minutes, and I was not going anywhere. So then I tried a different approach. Like maybe I'm taking the wrong variable to look into. Maybe I'm looking from left to right. Maybe I should look from right to left, and these many things. So like try different approaches for everything. Do what you like is already mentioned, and everything happens for a good reason. Like there might be case like you'll not get selected. Like I also gave interview for Flipkart and I was not selected. So but everything happens for a good reason. Like if I'm not able to crack the Flipkart interview, doesn't mean I cannot crack any other interviews. Similarly, like there might be any case with you guys also, like when you are not able to crack an interview. So like first time it happened to me when I gave an interview for Amazon. So I went to fourth round, but that was not up to the mark. So they put my profile on hold. Like they called me again also. So but one thing that is in your hand is like if you are not selected in any interview, then you have to know like what was the reason I was not selected. Like in my first time, like when I gave interview for Amazon, there were few things. So first thing was like I didn't practice much of the problems or much of the DSL Go. I just went there like just to give the interview. And the second thing was yeah, second thing was like I was working on Java Android, so they asked me about why didn't you work on Kotlin anywhere. So then I started learning Kotlin and also published an app, a simple app, just to like see what happens in Kotlin. But I still like Java. So these are the things. And also like I didn't read much of like this computer fundamentals like OOPS, DBMS, etc. Like I knew the concepts, but I have a tendency to forget the like names of people and headings of stuff. So that was a bad thing. So then the next time they called me, I prepared for everything, and like everything went good. So the one thing is in your hand is your preparation. And this is also a quote from Seneca, like luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So you have an opportunity, so be prepared for it. Don't lose it. Like even if you lose it, then know why did you lose it, and work on your like negative things, or maybe like where you are lacking, work on those. Yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah.
Want to end?
Yeah. So one last thing is that even if you don't get selected, it's okay. Don't take it personally. I mean, we all have our good and bad days. So sometimes it's just a bad day and things are not in your hand. But what you can do is that you can apply in a lot of companies to increase your chances of getting selected at a good company. So, I mean, if you are prepared, ultimately you will be selected in a good company. I mean, it can happen that you're not selected for one company because it was just a bad day, but you are prepared. So ultimately, if you are applying for a lot of companies, it's very likely that you'll be selected in most of them. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, next we'll be taking your questions.
So we are at the end of the seminar, but now we are starting the Q&A round, and we have got a lot of questions from very interested students. I will start with the basic question that has been repeated by most of the students, and that is, how do you manage development in competitive coding?
Okay, so I'll like to answer that. So, in my second year, I started with coding on HackerEarth. I did a few questions there, like around 900 questions, and then I went into development, like Android development, and it was very fascinating to me, and I completely left any kind of coding or programming or anything based on these questions. So how I'd like to see it is like, if you know good DSLGO or good algorithms, then it will be used in your development also. Like as Ajay also mentioned, like he's using these trees also in his work. So like you'll get better in development also along with this. So don't see it as like either I'll do development or either I'll do competitive programming. Do them both. Like just separate. Just give them some time. Like maybe you can give like 2 hours to programming and 1 hour to development, or maybe you can give 1 hour to programming and like 2-3 hours to development. Just try, but balance both of them. Like give your time. And like one more thing, try to learn one thing each and every day. Like it may be too much, then you can try for like learning each one thing for like each week, or two things each week. You can start with that. They might be little things or big things, but try learning that. Like maybe you can learn a new data structure, or maybe you can learn like how to implement something in your development, how to connect database, or how to like connect with backend, anything. So you can do that. Yeah, I think, yeah, there should be a good balance between both of these, because both of these will help you a lot.
Also, I mean, if you are, I mean, if you're working on a good project, it can happen that you will like it a lot, so you can skip competitive programming for some time. You can focus on your project, and maybe later, after a few months, like 3 4 months after you have worked on it, you can continue on competitive programming. But don't just, I mean, give up fully on it. I mean, do one question a week, or keep discussing the questions with your peers, with your friends, so that I mean, you are learning new algorithm after some time. You keep learning, so that's the main thing.
And one more thing, like that we asked, like we also asked our seniors, like how much should we do, we should focus on DS or we should focus on competitive programming. So I'd say like for starters like first and second year
Yeah.
first and second year people, they can try more on not competitive, but they can try more on like implementation problems on Hacker Earth. They are like, they won't test your any DS algo, but they'll test your logical reasoning, and you'll get very much interested in programming for first second year guys. And after that you can try learning DS algos and try implementing those questions. And but like in if you are in second year, or maybe in fifth sem, you like try doing questions by yourself. Even if it takes like one day, 2 day, or maybe 3 days, try doing it by yourself. By that you'll also get a sense of achievement, and like you'll be a lot more interested in doing it, and you'll start loving it. But for the students in like sixth and seventh semester, so I would advise them to like focus on doing more and more questions, and focus on learning more and more DS and algos, because you guys don't have time. And if you waste too much time on one question, then it won't be worth. Like uh let's say if you are not able to do a question and you spend 3 days on it. And like me personally, like I like to do like 10 to 20 questions each day. like uh, like if you know enough data structure and algorithms, you'll be able to just see the question, and you'll be able to see like if you are able to solve this question or not, if you are able to like if you know the concept or not. So that happens to me. And if I'm not able to get any approach in the first 2 minutes, then I'll look up the solution. I'll look up like what is the concept behind it, because like I know when I can't do a problem. So try doing that when the like interviews are near. But if the interviews are not near, like for first second year guys, so you can try learning by yourself only.
A question that a viewer is asking is that when we try to do competitive programming for an hour and development for 2 hours daily, the time that you spend in context switching will be wasted. So how do you handle that?
Okay, okay.
So, you don't have to do both of the things on the same day. I mean, it's not necessary that you are doing it and you are doing both of the things on the same day. So you basically have 4 years, right? So even if you have like wasted, or I mean, you have spent your first 2 years like really enjoying with friends. I mean, first year we all agree that will waste at least our first year. So I mean, still you have 3 years, right? So I mean, you don't need to do it on the same day. Just do competitive programming for a week and maybe for a month. Then after that, pursue your projects or the tech you want to learn for few months. So I mean, you don't have to worry about context switching. I mean, it's not that important in my thing. In my case, I think.
I have some
Yeah,
questions that are
Yeah.
related, so I'm gonna ask them at once.
Yeah.
So the questions are do you how do you apply for companies like Google or Flipkart, and as you know, as YMCA is a third tier college, so as a fresher can we get into these companies directly, and do we require any referrals for these companies?
yeah. So for a college like ours, like they won't be coming in on campus, obviously, like as you can already
I mean,
guess.
initially they won't be coming, but I mean, as more of us will be working for that company, it's very likely that they'll start coming to the campus.
It
But
depends on
yeah,
requirement. It depends on requirements also, if they are hiring freshers or not. So if they are hiring freshers and like some of you is good enough to be there, so like one of us or maybe our friends can refer you, because like if you like apply on a portal, they won't be looking at your resume. Like if they'll look at your resume, they'll look at your college and they'll reject it in most of the cases. Like
yeah,
above 90% chances they'll reject our like resumes. So but what you can do is try referrals, like ask people on LinkedIn, or maybe ask some of your seniors, or maybe ask us. So you can do that, and yes, you can join as a fresher also if you have a good referral and a good profile. And like if you want to like by good profile, what I mean is you have done a good amount of development. Like you must have at least 4 or 5 projects, like they are must, like 4 or 5 projects is a must. And then you should have a very good profile and competitive programming. You should have a very good rank on like maybe code forces or anything. Like I don't do competitive programming, but you must have a very good like rank on these portals or anything.
yeah.
So another question that comes from this is, what do you categorize as good projects, or what are the technology stack that you should involve in a project?
Okay, so technology stack is like one's own choice. They can choose any stack as they want, but there are two categories. One is like based on a good project. There are two categories. One is like how much it is impacting, how rational the idea is, and the second thing is like how good the uh, development of this project was. Like it may be a good tech, it may be like better use of design principles or anything. So there are two cases. So you can either try with a good idea. So like in companies also, like we are given opportunities like to share ideas, like what we can do to better our systems, or maybe we have some new idea. Like there are in company, like in companies also there are hackathons, like for the working people only, for the employees only. So like if you have a good idea, then also it's good. And also if you have a very a project which is like tech heavy, then also it is good. But it doesn't need to be very tech heavy. It can be a like normal project also, because like they know you are coming straight from college and they won't be expecting you from a like industry grade service or something. Yeah, so I think that
Okay.
clears. Yeah.
And a person asks that in the time of COVID-19, how do we still remain motivated towards coding?
Okay. Yeah. So like it kind of demotivated us also, because like I tried it in many companies, and I didn't get any referral because no one was hiring for SD1. So I only had one referral, that was Google. I had two referrals actually, Flipkart and Google. So I was not selected in Flipkart. Then I went like Google है अब तो नहीं होगा, अब मैं क्या करूँ? So but the thing was like everything happens for a good reason. What we can do is we can prepare for it and try watching some like motivational videos or something. Like I watch a lot of motivational videos, or and try watching movies based on like real people. Like a few days ago I was watching the founder, like the story of McDonald's. You'll get very motivated, and like even if 1 year is wasted, you still have time. Like the life is too big. Like you have heard the case of KFC also. He was too old to start a startup, and so try doing that. Try watching motivational videos and everything. Like you still have time. Like what we did was good, but then that will act as a base for you. Like maybe we got in Google, maybe you guys will create a new Google or something. So yeah, that's all. Like try to watch as much like motivational videos, or maybe some real life videos. Like try following like people like Jack Ma and others. Like, yeah, that
So
that
I believe this question is coming from, I mean, either the third year or the fourth year guys. So, I mean, one thing I would like to tell you is that surround yourself with the like-minded people. So, I mean, if you have good friends who supports you and who also inspires you and works with you on questions, so
like me. Me.
you'll ultimately feel motivated.
So, other thing that a person asks is when you are in your interviews, how do they ask about your projects and how do you explain the projects to the interviewers?
So basically, the project part of any interview is very short compared to the DSLO part of that interview. So when you enter the interview, first they'll ask for your brief introduction. So that will last, I mean, only 1 or 2 minutes max. And after that, they'll be looking at your resume and they'll be asking you about the projects which you have worked upon. And this project part will actually it will only last only for 5 to 10 minutes max. I mean, mostly it will last for this much of time only. So just prepare it well before going to interviews. Revise everything, ramp up on your projects, ramp up on all the things. I mean, why you have chosen this tech or not that tech, why, what real life issue that project solves, and all these things.
Okay. Now I had some questions regarding Spodge. And
Yeah.
first, a person asks, should we do problems on Spodge or not? And if yes, how do I approach problems C and D on the platform?
I'm sorry. Can
How
you
do I approach
repeat?
the problem C and D?
C and D.
Yeah.
So is it? I mean, C and D. I think it's on Code Forces, not on Spots. But
Okay,
okay,
okay.
I'll
That's
tell
on code
you.
process. Sorry.
Yeah. So I personally started from sports. I solved around 100 first 100 questions sorted in increasing level of difficulty. So you can follow this same approach. You can solve first 100 problems that will give you sufficient knowledge about what data structures are important, what algorithms are important, how to approach a particular problem. And apart from that, to the second part of this question, this C and D, I mean, I personally am not able to solve D most of the times, but mostly now I'm able to solve C. So as you know, I mean, A and B are very trivial problems. So I mean, mostly A definitely it will only include ad hoc type of thing, and D is also mostly ad hoc. So C will be mostly on greedy sorting these things. I mean, D it will be mostly on graphs or DP. So prepare for graphs and DP. very well. Give a lot of time on these topics, and what you can do is you can just try to solve a lot of problems tagged with that level. I mean, when you are not able to solve C question, solve a lot of C questions. So ultimately, you will be able to solve it in the contest. So this is the strategy which I used, and when ultimately I was able to solve C, but for D, I mean, even I am not able to solve it in a contest.
Do you want to add on, Hemant sir?
No.
Okay, no problem. Uh, Another person asks that did you ever think about startup as as a way to go forward?
Yeah, I have thought about startup, and like I'm constantly working on that. I don't know I should make it public or not, but I'm constantly working on it, and I'm trying to learn things like maybe from company, and trying like I'm trying to make some good connections, and like yeah, I have an end goal to like have a startup of my own, but I'm not launched it yet. So, like previously I had some options, but at that time I didn't know much, and I was not able to like drop out or something. But I had it, but I'd advise you guys also like not to drop out. Like it sounds fancy, like Mark Zuckerberg is a dropout, like it sounds fancy, but it's a high risk. It's a high risk. Take a calculated risk. If you think the funding is good, if you think everything is good, and you might last 1 to 2 years at least, then maybe you can drop out. I'm not saying anything, like we have already given you disclaimer. So like maybe you can like drop out, but like yeah, I've thought about startup, and I like sharing ideas, and I like going to hackathons, and yeah, you guys should also go to hackathons. You'll get to know a lot of ideas and lot of technology. Like me personally, like at my time, like nobody in my class was doing Android, and I got to know about like these Android app developments from a hackathon itself. That was my first hackathon, and I saw a lot of people were making very good Android apps. So I got my like development purpose from there. So yeah, I've thought about startup, and if someone has any idea who would like to share with me, I'd be happy to. I'll be happy to like work along with them.
So another person asks that is backend development with Django enough, or should he try to go with front end or app development alongside it?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, one thing is fine. Like maybe you can try a little bit of UI and stuff, but like doing in backend is enough, because like whatever you do, like in companies like Amazon or maybe in Google, like they have their own in-house technologies. So you won't be using your plain old like things like Node.js or Django. Like there might be some teams where you may use Django, but it doesn't matter what tech you use, because like later on you just have to have the knowledge of the concept, like how the things connect with each other, so that you can work on anything.
Okay. Um, the same goes with Python. A person says that he's comfortable working in Python. Should he go for other languages, or should he just stick with it?
Yeah, you should.
No, just I mean, if you have time, go with other languages, but language is not the concern. I mean, if you know how to drive a car, you can. I mean, you can drive a car, right? It can be any car. Just learn how to drive a car, and you can drive a SUV or a truck maybe sometime.
Yeah, so if you are comfortable with one language, try doing that, and you can try other languages also. Like I'm more comfortable with C++ in like in coding questions, but
Yeah.
like I have tried doing some questions with Java and Python also, like 5-10 questions with each of them. But like I never got too much like interested in that in base of coding. So you can try, but like stick with one thing, like which you feel very interested in.
Don't waste much of your time on learning languages. Instead, learn new algorithms and implement those new algorithms in the languages which you already know.
And one more thing to Python, guys, like in Python there are a lot of inbuilt libraries which does a lot of things on itself. So like if you don't know how these work, then that will be a problem for you. Like you might use a like inbuilt sort function or anything. So at first try avoiding that and try writing the code by yourself, and once you are comfortable with writing the sort code or maybe tree code or graph or anything, like I don't know like what things are available in Python exactly, because I don't do Python, but I've heard that there are a lot of inbuilt functions and inbuilt libraries there. So first try to implement by yourself, and then you can use those, like once you have the idea how these work.
Okay then. Just while you were answering the questions about Flipkart, many people from live chat started commenting about machine coding. So one person asked, "How much time do you get for machine coding round in Flipkart?"
So it's generally 1.5 hours. I mean, it can vary. I mean, in my case, I missed a few corner cases because of the time limit. I told the interviewer that these are the things I missed, and the reason was that I was focusing more on the design, on incorporating the design skills like OOPS concepts in the implementation. So generally you will get 1.5 hours only, but I mean if you ask or if you request for 10-15 minutes more, they'll I think give you.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
Another pop question is, what are the platforms to practice, or where can we find some mock problems for machine coding?
So machine coding round is actually not very popular round among the product based companies, and I've heard only of Swiggy and Flipkart who are asking this machine coding problems. So you'll have to search on Google. Search on Google. I mean, you'll get to know. I mean, there was one blog I can share with that in the comment box. uh, I'm from that. I think two or three problems were from that blog, but that blog actually covers like uh, how you should write your solution with the design skills, like considering the low level design, how you should write the solution. So
So,
I share that in the comment section.
okay, we will link that in the comment or the description.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Another person asked, how does flexibility in thought plays a role when answering questions at an interview stage?
Yeah, so I think it's very important. I mean, that you are flexible. So there is a code that you cannot dig a hole at another place by digging it deeper. So it's very important for you to be flexible, for you to consider like all the approaches before actually start explaining your solution. So make sure that whatever comes to your mind, just note it down separately to a note which or we have, or the doc on which you are explaining. So after that only dig deeper. If you are not able to find the solution from that particular thing, then come back and move on to the second solution which you have thought of. So it's very important that you know how to think in an abstract way. I mean, abstract thinking is very important.
Okay. So, our question that is a personal too is, when 4 years end at the end of the college, many people think, what should they do further? Should they go for higher studies? Should they go for jobs? Or should they, and even in jobs, should they go for MNCs or should they go for startups? Any advice in that regard?
So the first, I mean, it's your choice to go if you want to go for higher studies. I cannot comment on that, but I mean, considering that you want to go for a startup or an MNC, I mean, that I can answer. So basically, if you are working in a very huge company, so there are very less chances that you'll be working on something. I mean, there are very less chances that you'll be building something from scratch. But if you are in a startup or in a startup age of a company, you'll end up working in some good cool projects, and that will be very beneficial for your future career. So Hemant,
Yeah,
you want to add something?
yeah. Like one more thing is like try applying on startups which are well established, like Flipkart or maybe Zomato or something. Um, don't go for like smaller startups. Like you can obviously go for the smaller startup, but they don't have much stability. And the other thing is like you won't be able to make good connections there. Like at Amazon and in Bangalore, I'm able to make some really good connections, but I don't think I would have been able to make them if I were in a very small startup. Like you can make like good connection in well established like Paytm or maybe Flipkart or maybe something. Like try applying for these startups and work on those.
Okay, another question that comes to mind is, when you are in a job, how does your day proceed? What are the projects like which you work on? Not exactly the details, but what are the categorization and what happens
Uh,
during the day?
So, I mean, in Flipkart, I mean, the culture is very flexible. I mean, the timings are very flexible. So, you can start your day anytime you want. So, I mean, even if you don't join a stand up, it's okay, it's fine. You can just update it on the communication tool, I mean, the Slack, which we use here. So, I'll experience I mean, how my day, I mean, how I spend my day. So, I basically wake up at 9 or 10, maybe 11 sometimes. So I like my stand up is at 12. So I make sure that I'm ready for the day by 12. So I work close to like 2 3 hours, and then I take a break of some time, and after that also I continue the day. I work for 1 2 hours, and after that, I mean, because I'm in my ramp up part now, because I've recently joined Flipkart. Like I'm still in my ramp up phase, so I'm not working that much on a particular project. But once you have ramped up on the tech, on the docs which you'll get. So after that, like it's up to you how much you want to work in a day, like how many hours you want to work in a day. It depends on the interest on your interest level, basically. So if you really like the project, you can maybe work 14 hours a day. If you don't like that much, if you don't like the project that much, you can work for 5 hours. Like in Flipkart, it's very flexible.
Okay, sir. Hemant sir,
Yeah.
would you like to share
Yeah,
your experience?
I can only share about Amazon because like I'll be joining Google in July only. So at Amazon, what happens like generally there are 1 2 meetings every day. Like one is obvious, that is stand up. Stand up is basically like your attendance kind of thing. Not your attendance kind of thing, but like what we do is as a team we discuss like what we are working on, and if we are facing any problems and what we'll be working on today, and any blockers or anything. So we generally discuss that as a team. And after that there might be some like design discussions. Like if there is some project going on, there will be design discussion, the whole team will be involved, everyone will be pitching their ideas. Like it's just a brainstorming session, and then we get to a conclusion and then start working on a project. And timing wise, it's very flexible here, because like you like in Samsung, like you have to go to the office and then mark the attendance. But in companies like Flipkart, Amazon and Google, like you don't necessarily have to go to office, and you can work at any time. Like I wake up at around like 11 or 11:30 because I have a like stand up at 12, and then later on maybe I'll sleep some more. So after meetings. But I like, because I like to work at night. So I work at night and I sleep very late, and then I wake up like at 11:30. Like it's up to you, like how you do it. Like if you want to do it in day or at night, like it's up to you, but like you should attend the meeting. But
Okay. A person asks, what is the difference between SGE1 and SGE2?
So SD1 is basically the entry level of your career, and as you become basically SD2 after 2 years or 3 years based on your performance. So it's nothing. I mean, both are developers, but like SD2 is more experienced, so he or she has more experience in the industry.
Yeah, more experience, and they'll have more experience in designing also. So
Yeah,
in lot of like high level designs or like designs with other teams, generally an SD2 is like involved. Like if you are a good performer as an SD1, then you might be like involved in that, but generally SD2s and SD3s are involved in these kind of discussions. And like maybe if we want to like discuss like how like an particular API will work with the other team, so these kinds of thing the SD2s and SD3s discuss. And as an SD1 we can like give our ideas, and if like have some discussion with team, and if it is like if they feel it is good enough, then like we can try and implement it. So this is it. Like, but you can obviously be involved in design discussions if you want.
Okay. A viewer asks, what if you are not good at logical reasoning? Well, a simple answer would be just practice it. But I would like you to answer what could be the good sources for it for logical reasoning.
I think I can answer that. Like previously, I was very dumb, so I was not able to do any kind of questions. Like I was very bad at maths since my fifth class, like till my fifth class. But from sixth onwards, I get very good at mathematics. So the first thing where I learned from is like my siblings or maybe my cousins. They were preparing for some government exams, and there are a lot of logical questions where you have to see some patterns. Like there are obviously like coaching classes give them like some formulas or something, but you can try on your own, try watching the patterns, how like how they came up to this approach. You can start from there. Or if you don't have these kind of books, then you can try for geeks or maybe online regarding some gate or maybe some government exam logical reasoning questions. Like I think they are enough, because I also learned from there itself.
Okay.
one thing that is important is that if you're not good at problem solving or logical reasoning, I mean I was also not good at it during my first or second year. So what you have to do is you have to solve the problem by yourself only, then only you'll be able to become good at it. I mean, if you keep looking at the solution and then implementing it, it won't help much. I mean, honestly, it won't help at all. So it's good that you are solving a question yourself, then only if you think it's correct, then only first get it accepted on the platform, and then only look for the solution which in the editorial, so that you know of multiple approaches.
Okay. A person asks that if I'm comfortable and if I know machine learning, would there be a relaxation in DS and algo during the interview process?
No. So like if you are good in like I was good in development, like better than like coding, but there was no relaxation based on that. And also like if you are applying for a specific job, like for a machine learning job, so like there will be DSLGO rounds obviously, but one of those will be changed to your machine learning round, like machine learning interview round. Like in Google, like if I would have applied for a machine learning like developer, the ML developer, so like three of my rounds would have been for DSLGO, and my fourth round, like instead of DSLGO it would have been for ML itself. So like they'll ask you questions about ML also, but there will be no relaxation on DS and Algo. Like you have to be good at them.
Okay. Another viewer asked that if you remember any of your college projects, can you share with us the same?
Yeah, it's on my GitHub profile. I think it was not very good, so please don't judge.
Yeah, you can check our GitHub profiles, but like mine you wouldn't find because all of them are private. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'll
But
link my
I, I
profile.
can share with I can share with you personally if someone wants to. Like I've also pasted my LinkedIn account there on the stream.
if you just could share what were the ideas that you implemented, that would be great too.
Idea was like the first idea like I implemented was four of us was there. It was related to like there was some woman hackathon, like woman empowerment something. So we built something like to help women sell their household not household items, like homemade items, like maybe some katori, not katori, or some basket or something, like which they make at home. So it was something like that. That was my first project, but I've made many of them. Yeah.
Okay. A person asked any tips for applying for GSOC.
No idea.
Like I have heard about it, but it was too late when I heard about it. So like for GSOC, what you need to do is like you need to like work on open source projects on GitHub, or maybe like, yeah, GitHub, obviously, like everyone uses GitHub. So you have to contribute in them, and there is, I think, some form or something for GSOC, where there are a lot of companies. Then you have to send your resume, and also a document where you will tell them, like if they have some project, like how you will contribute to that project. You will have to prepare a full document with images and all, like as good as it can be. You have to give them a proposal, and if they select it, then they'll be working with you, and if you perform good there, then you'll be offered something like internship, or maybe a job at Google.
Okay. Another
But
question is that the companies that come in a college for interviews or hiring purposes, do they only look for developers, or if a person knows more about admin things at a good level, can they be hired for those skills, the admin skills?
like which companies are you talking about?
I can't name specifically any of them, but since you are from CE, I'll just say um, Samsung or something like that. Maybe
With
KPMG for some sort of.
Your voice is not clear. Can you paste the question in Meet so that we?
Okay. I'm just saying that if a person who's good at admin stuff, okay, administration stuff, uh, can the companies which come out in our college, can they be hired for that skill instead of the development? Or
So administrative skills, I mean, I think this question is coming from some like HR course or something. So I'm not that credible to answer that. Maybe Hemant can answer.
I don't, can you paste the question in like the Meet chat so that we could
I
see?
just I'll add it. Wait a second.
Actually, the question is that if someone is good at administrative skills,
Okay.
like can they be hired at? I mean, basically, the question is that uh, do companies like Flipkart, Google, and all these all kind of these companies, do they come for administrative kind of profile or not?
Like they can hire you, but not for an SE. Like
Exactly.
lot of students from our class also like got placed in a company like KPMG. They had very good administrative skills. Like one of my friend also, he had very good administrative skills, and he performed, like he was he is very good with people. So he was selected there for, I think, some sales or something. So there are opportunities in, like, in every company, but like not for an SD. Like if you are good at administration, so you'll be looking for that kind of jobs.
Okay.
We are not aware of any companies for that profile. We will have to research.
Okay. Where are you currently located? Do location matter while you are switching?
I think, yeah, like location matters. Like we are currently in Bangalore, so like in Bangalore, it's a different culture than Noida or Gurgaon. Like here, like people are really like they are from all over India, and they are really helpful, and they are really knowledgeable because they have come from all of the places, and nobody goes to goes that far away without any knowledge. So like if you want to make some good connections and want to know more about like this industry, then you should obviously like go to a good place like Hyderabad or Bangalore, or if you want to go outside India, it's good.
Okay.
Just
Actually, in Bangalore, I mean, most of the companies are in Bangalore, but they are not in not there at other places like Flipkart, Microsoft, and even Google is not in Delhi area. So most of the product-based companies, most of the famous companies are they are located at Hyderabad or Bangalore.
yeah. Like
Okay.
Amazon and Samsung are there, but yeah.
Yeah.
A fun question a person asked is, did Bike Riders Group influence you in your journey?
Bike riders group.
Yeah.
What?
Did bike riders group influenced you in your journey? This rhythm, right?
A friend of yours asked it in the group chat.
Okay.
Okay. I don't understand the question. Can you repeat it?
Did Bike Riders Group influence you in your journey or help you in your journey in any way?
No, I mean, if you are asking about a career at a career level, I mean it does not have that much, but at a personal level, it helps. I mean, you'll meet some new people. I mean, and like basically, when you are going with strangers, so you'll develop some good skills, some good personal skills, and maybe you'll get some good friends. I mean, maybe for a lifetime. So it's good at a personal level, but not at a career level. Career level.
Okay. Another person asked that, how do you approach seniors for referrals?
So seniors, I mean, like if you have talked with a particular senior before, you can just directly ping them on WhatsApp or Facebook. They'll be more than happy to help you. But like if you're not aware or if you have not talked with any senior, just I mean, even in that case, just ping to their WhatsApp profile if you have the number, or uh, I mean, mostly you'll not have the number, but you can search for them on Facebook. So you can ping them. I think they'll be more than happy to help. So you can ask us also. You can ping us on LinkedIn or Facebook.
So we'll just try to link all the LinkedIn and GitHub profiles in the
Yeah, yeah,
description or in the comments.
yeah.
I guess we are done with the questions as such. But if there are anything that you would like to say at the end, so you're more than welcome. Okay, David. Another
Yeah.
question just popped in. Do you think your job level mattered if you were from a smaller college?
Your job level?
Ma- uh, is there a thing that you would have been selected for the job if you were from even smaller college?
Yeah,
The
I've
college
known
level.
a few people like who are not even from tier three college. I mean, they are like very private college, which nobody is aware of. So even those got selected at Amazon and even at Google. So it doesn't matter. I mean, if you have the right skills, you'll ultimately be selected in a good company.
Okay. So if any more questions pop in, I'll tell you. Otherwise, your closing thoughts.
Yeah, so I'd like to just like repeat those things. Just be calm and like try doing what you like, and like try watching some motivational videos if you are like me, and look up to some good examples. And if you don't have one, that then you should set one for your juniors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question
All
is
all the best from my side.
another
Yeah, all
small
the
question. Are there any hackathons that you would suggest others to go to? A big
yes,
hackathon, something like that.
there is a hack in the north that is really good. Angel X is also good, and I think these are the uh,
I
good
think
hacks.
Medan also organizes hackathons, na? So you can participate in those hackathons.
Yes, and also try going for like meets. Like once I went to Google Developers Group meet. Like I was the only one whose application was accepted, and I was thinking like maybe should I go or not go. Like it was in Gurgaon, and I had to go alone from Faridabad. But I went there and I made a really good connection there. Like he told me many things about Android development, and I got really good at it. And also I got to know like various new technologies there. So like try to go in meets also, and even if you are the only one who has to go like anywhere, just go there. You'll learn something, because like knowledge is, I think, knowledge gives the best interest than everything else. Like you can earn money later if you have knowledge.
A viewer asked that, could you please guide us about the phone interview of Google? I know you have already said about it, but still.
About the
The
phone telephonic
phone
interview.
interview of Google.
Which one? The four interviews or the telephonic interviews?
Telephone interviews.
Telephonic,
Telephonic interviews.
telephonic.
Telephonic.
Yeah.
Okay, so about that, you can try it with your friends. Like give some mock test. Like your friends will prepare for a question. Like the friend who will be acting as an interviewer should have a good knowledge about that question and all the approaches regarding that. Then you can try doing mock test with him or her or anyone or maybe some senior. Try doing that and try not to use your pen and paper. Just try to use the document and try to like draw anything like tree or maybe anything, try to draw everything there. You can try the mock test also, and I think interview bit has also started this mock test.
Drobit has it. I mean, it's free, even it's free, so you don't have to pay anything for that.
You can do mock test with anyone, so try doing it there if you don't have anyone.
Uh, a question is, how do you clean your code? You mentioned earlier that you have to write a clean code. A reusable code is easy to understand that you have to write functions that could be easily imparted in in other locations. But what is a clean code?
So yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
yeah.
okay, okay, I'll take this question.
Ajay.
So, okay, so it actually comes with experience. I mean, if you are a fresher, I mean, if you have just joined this college, or if you have just started doing competitive programming or solving questions, so you'll not be able to write clean code. So what's important is that you make sure that the approach which you have in mind is correct. It should be correct. It should cover all the test cases. So when you are totally 100% sure that this will work for all the test cases, then I mean, you will definitely be writing a clean code, because I mean, you have I mean, it's very clear in your mind what you have to write. So when it's clear in your mind, then only you will be able to write clean code. So what mostly people do is that they just, I mean, they have not even thought of the solution first. They'll keep writing the code. So this is not the correct way. First, make sure the approach is correct, and you have, I mean, just dry run the approach which you have thought of on corner cases, and then you'll be able to write a clean code.
Okay.
Yes, and to add on to that is like use some good variable names, like don't use abc or s for string. Use the names for variables for what they are intended to do, and not just like some random variable names, and try to use as less conditions as possible. And like just write it in a good way so that it's easily understandable by other. So clean code just means that like it's easily understandable by other. Yeah,
Okay.
I think
So basically, two things. I mean, you
based
should be clear about the approach, and second thing is do more questions so that you're able to write the clean code faster. So that's it.
Okay.
I'll add a book. I'll add a book name also, one or two book names in the description. You can refer those.
Okay. A person asked that, how do you know about job openings in companies like Flipkart, Google, or even Amazon for that matter?
So in Amazon, it's easier than these Flipkart and like Google for us, like for our college, because like Amazon also comes to our college, and even if we are applying to off campus, like it's generally not a problem. But maybe for some Flipkart, like I think there is some competition or something going on right now. I I saw a message
Flipkart
regarding
Grid,
Flipkart.
Grid
Yeah,
Challenge.
but generally like I don't think like they look at our resume as a fresher, so you need to get a referral at these companies, in my opinion, because I like even if I have applied like for other companies, I didn't get any like any calls or anything. I had to like apply through referral only.
How do you know when to apply? That's the question, I think.
So
How
for
do you know
that,
about the openings?
so
Actually, just create a good profile on LinkedIn. I mean, connect with people from these companies in which you are looking to join. So basically, if you are looking to join at Flipkart, just connect with more people at Flipkart, and keep following their posts. So I mean, ultimately, you'll find that most of the developers, they'll say that, okay, we have some opening in our team, so you can send your resume at our team. So mostly it will be on LinkedIn, but like, I mean, like you can ask your seniors, they'll also be
And also,
when it's the right time.
before asking anyone, you can just try to go on careers website of any, like, even if you see for Flipkart or Google, there will be job openings for these position. And once you have found these job openings, then you can just ask your seniors or maybe some LinkedIn connections, about the referrals. So
Yeah.
just first try to search on the careers website of each company.
I think that's it with the questions, and I don't think we'll be getting any more of them.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's all.
We should end it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the best.
Thank
All
you
the
everyone
best.
for watching, and special thanks to the 50 that actually stick till the end. Thank you all, and have a great day. Okay, bye.
Bye bye.